Rashid Akhtar sahab, Dr. Rashid Akhtar sahab.
जी सर, अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
Ma'am, ईद मुबारक हो आपको।
जी सर, थैंक यू, ईद मुबारक।
डॉक्टर महेश सूर्यांशी, I think your question which you asked me about the indication of Dr. Minimeta, I am clear? Okay, thank you. Now, Dr. Rashid Akhtar, please share your experience. As you know that most younger generation is going to be accepting the importance and value of indication in the hand of Dr. Minimeta and other also. So, if possible, you also select from your students someone like me Mehta having a quality to share his knowledge under the banner of Academy of Christ. I have welcomed all. Please help the academic people from your experience. Dr. Rashid, please.
जी सर, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। Good evening, dear friends. Thank you, Dr. Mini Mehta, for your nice cases that you have shown for these difficult cases. Successful result. Uh, Today, I'm not going to discuss cases. Rather, the discussion on Monday with sir and few of our friends on the webinar, we were discussing regarding LM potency. So many of students asked me to somehow explain the how to dispense and serve with LM potency in our clinic. So I'm trying to give you the directions how to serve and use LM potency in your clinic. Before that, LM potency, as it was used by Hahnemann, introduced by Hahnemann in the 6th edition of Organon of Medicine. This is one of the most latest gifts of Hahnemann to the profession, that this 50 millisimal scale of potency. Hahnemann used this in the name of new method of dynamization, and afterward Pierre Smith named it 50 millisimal scale of potency. Beside these two names, this is also known as LM potency, as correlated with 50 millisimal potency. This potency is also known as Q potency, and especially some of the friends that I met in Liga and other in foreign countries, especially in Switzerland, I met Dr. Spenedy, who is also using LM potency, but they called it Q potency. So this LM potency is having different name. Either we say new method of dynamization, or we can say LM potency, 50 millisimal potency, Q potency, or is also known as 0 by 1, or because it is 0 by 1, 0 by 2, 0 by 3, in that way it is used. So these are the few names of this LM potency. Besides this, we have two parts for clinical use of this new method of dynamization. One part is the pharmacy part, that the medicine is being prepared, that is described in your aphorism number 270, 6th edition, and its footnote. So I am not going to describe here this pharmacy part, because medicine is available to us in paper, or if we have enough time to describe for this session, then sometime else we can describe it. So basically this pharmacy part is given in our Organon of Medicine 6th edition in 270 aphorism, in which the base is prepared from 1C, 3C, and from 3C this LM potency preparation begins. Next part is how we use it in our clinic, that is the dispensing part of the LM potency. To dispense it in our clinic, as Hahnemann has described it in aphorism number 248 of 6th edition. If we open the book 248, sorry, not 246, 248, 6th edition, in footnote, he has given a direction. First, he has told that made in 40, 30, 20, 15 or 8 teaspoonful of water. That means there is a variation of range of dispensing in how much quantity of distilled water we are going to prepare this. This again have certain significances, and then how to use this. For this practically I would like to show you that after pharmacy part, if I am going to show this in this form, globules form, we are getting our 50 millisimal potency, not in liquid form, but for dispensing we are getting it in this globules form. I am going it to show this HAPCO, made by HAPCO, and here we are getting this 10 number globules, that is called poppy seed like globules, that we have from the pharmacy, and this we can purchase from the pharmacy any number of medicine whatever we desire. This medicine, as Hahnemann has described, variation of size or amount of the water, we use first such a bottle of amber color or glass bottle. It is important. This is 100 ml glass bottle, empty. Then in this bottle you have to fill distilled water up to the neck. And this empty 100 of water bottle, 100 ml, you filled up to the neck distilled water. This is filled with distilled water. In this you have to take one globules from this selected medicine, whatever you have selected for your patient, one globules. Hahnemann has said in this footnote, one globules is enough. One globules mix in this water filled bottle, and after mixing this, add 5 to 10 drops of rectified spirit. This is also important to control this amount of rectified spirit according to certain nature of the patient. Hahnemann in his Organon of Medicine has advised either you can put a charcoal threaded in a thread and put it in the vial every time, and before going to a stroke you have to remove that charcoal, or you put rectified spirit 5 to 7 drops. It works to preserve this distilled water for a longer duration of use. After this, when you prepared like this, then give 10 stroke like that way. This again 10 drops, you can fix it 2 stroke, 5 stroke or 10 stroke. Then you have to decide how many doses you are going to prepare. Either you measure the cap marked here that this much for after giving a stroke, put this much of medicine in 7 to 8 spoonful of water or half cup of water, mix it. Or you can mark a paper here, stick the paper with marking of number 1 dose, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Usually if you use this size of bottle and if you use this nature of cap, then it covers 18 caps of water. So you have prepared 18 doses. And after preparing this dose, you can advise your patient that each time after the number of strokes you have advised for them, 2, 5 or 10, take 1 cap of medicine in half cup of water, and then from there take 1 teaspoonful or 2 teaspoonful according to the sensitivity of the patient, and this frequency you can again fix according to the nature of disease. As Hahnemann has advised, for acute diseases you can use either on 15 minutes gap, 13 minutes gap, half an hourly, 1 hourly or 2 hourly. That means according to the different parameters of your homeopathic posology or the need of repetition, you can advise this prepared medicine with this frequency. And in case of chronic diseases, you have to give a longer duration of gap between the dose, or here you can advise either once daily or alternate day or after 2 days or 3 days according to the need of your case. So this is how we dispense this 50 millisimal potency. One thing, here I have marked this with 16 doses or 18 doses. It is my empirical learning, as I have seen in the clinic of sir that he is using in this way, and so we have followed as it is empirically. When Hahnemann has advised in this footnote of aphorism number 248, he has advised different number of size you can make if you need, especially in chronic case, when you have to go farther, then you can use a bigger size, or you can use this size with more, that advising by half cap. That means instead of 18 dose you can increase this a larger dose. That means 20, 32 dose you can make it. Or you prescribe 1 bottle like this way with medicine, and then rest filling bottles you can prepare, or advise your patient that when last dose, last 1 cap remains in this first bottle, then mix this number 2 bottle in this and again continue as advised. This is how Hahnemann has advised for dispensing 50 millisimal scale of potency. In this dispensing 50 millisimal scale of potency, and as I have told you regarding the number of drops of rectified spirit, here we have to be little careful, because nowadays certain patient, when you will prescribe, they will sometime smell और बोलोगे तो कुछ नहीं है, पानी है. So here in those type of patients you can increase number of those drops slightly, so that there is presence of this smell of rectified spirit. But mind it, this increased smell sometimes may go against you, like in certain sensitive patient, especially in females or in child, because when they get this smell of rectified spirit, sometimes they complain with uneasiness. Few patients complain with certain type of other symptoms of this rectified spirit, although they are not, but this sensitivity is somehow giving trouble, like headache, nausea, that commonly I face with patient. So especially in certain females or in children, to avoid this headache and nausea, you have to limit the number of drops of rectified spirit. Better you have to give only 2 or 3 drops, not more than that, not more than even 5, because after that you will get the smell, or the sensitive patient may get aggravated by it. This is one way how we dispense this. It is the Hahnemannian direction of dispensing 50 millisiemens potency. Again, sir has told on Monday regarding increasing cup, that sir has described it. So only those conditions that sir have described, where when we take 1 cup of medicine, put in half cup of water, from there we can make 1 teaspoonful and put it another half cup of water, and from the second cup advise the patient to take and throw the rest. Again, like that way, if the patient sensitivity and the condition as described by sir persist, you can increase the cup second, third, fourth, and so on. Criteria sir has described well in last class. Beside this Hahnemannian direction, certain way of dispensing LM potency I faced in different parts of seminar or different cultures that I would like to share, but these references I have not found in Hahnemannian literature. One, some people I have seen them to dispense this LM potency, 1 globules or 2 globules of this they mixed in powder and administer to the patient. They have, I'm not criticizing anyone, but this is not Hahnemannian direction of administering this LM potency. Another I frequently faced, that this is LM1. If you see LM1, Hahnemann has advised after 1, the same process you advise and prepare LM2. After that, same way of prescribing LM3. That means Hahnemann has advised it in a continuous way. 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. But many of us may have, or I have seen many, that they used to prescribe after 1 they use 3, not 2. They use 3. They have their own reasons. Then after 3 they use 5, not 4. That means each time they use a potency after a gap of potency. Among different reasons, one reason they give that when you are giving this much of a stroke, when you are repeating this, so already LM2 is, the action of LM2 is covered in that way. It is not so. If we prescribe as the direction of Hahnemann, as I have seen in the clinic of Sir from the very beginning, we prescribe in a continuation 1, 2, 3, 4, not by gapping the potency. Next is where to use this LM potency. Some says it is good to use in chronic cases and avoid in acute cases. Some says it is good to use in acute cases and avoid in chronic cases. No matter, many of the stalwarts have used only centesimal, not LM. Many of our stalwarts have used LM potency and centesimal, and everyone is getting result. But as per the direction of Hahnemann in this aphorism, This LM potency is useful for both acute diseases as well as for chronic diseases. And one thing is, as I am going to discuss my personal experience, LM potency will work very efficiently if you are prescribing on totality. That means if you are prescribing on individualization. No matter it is acute disease or chronic disease, LM potency will work and will work very good. Lots of other benefits, fault and limitations are given there, but sometimes I found limitation of this LM potency. If in absence of individualization and you are going to prescribe a remedy, just for example, very frequently I found in our clinic that patient is not having symptoms, or due to our fault I am not able to get the symptom. Patient have inflammation of this net belt, pus formation, throbbing pain, and very painful condition, and very frequent suppuration, very rapid suppuration is there. One of the very important medicine that is being used therapeutically as Myristica sebifera. In such case, I found when I prescribed in LM potency, I have limited success. But if I prescribe centesimal, especially 6C, then I got good result. So if we are not getting prescription based on individualization, or if I am prescribing on certain localized clinical tips, in those situations frequent repetition is required. But in those conditions, certain different potencies of different medicine, but especially in case of centesimal potency, works somehow, as per my personal experience. I am not claiming it, by centesimal rather 50 millisimal. But where individualization is there, where very dynamic totality is available for making a totality of symptom, no matter disease is chronic or disease is acute, we have very good success with LM potency. So many benefits and uses and drawbacks are described. That is a theoretical part, I am not going to discuss. But I would like to share one footnote of aphorism, that is the footnote of 249. If those who have book, just read this footnote. Aphorism number 249, 6th edition, footnote. Very important, and this one footnote is enough to convince our new generation for the use of LM potency. What Hahnemann says here, just the well informed and conscientiously careful physician will never be in a position to require an antidote in his practice if he will begin as he should to give the selected medicine in the smallest possible dose. In the smallest possible dose. Here he is giving a hint towards this LM potency in this edition. And then he says afterwards, a like minute dose of a better chosen remedy will re-establish order throughout. That means two messages are there. If your selection of remedy is perfectly homeopathic, in this condition, how easily, how conformately you are getting the success. Similarly, Alike, if we use LM potency, if you use so minute dose, you never be in a position to antidote the remedy. That means very important message that we frequently use a word by Hippocrates, primum non nocere, at least do no harm. Or when Hahnemann in his footnote in this previous aphorism, he also said, "Si non juvet, modo ni nescet." If you cannot do any good, at least you should not do any harm. And that is one of the greatest usefulness of homeopathic 50 millisimal potency, that you will not harm your patient. If your medicine is not going to give any good to your patient, it will at least not do any harm. For this reference, so many philosophies have discussed, as well Hahnemann has also discussed, that when a homeopathic potentized medicine works in a sick individual, it works with the sensitivity, it works with the state of susceptibility. Just for example, if you prescribe a belladonna 30 to a patient having headache, when we prescribe in the primary state of this belladonna, action of belladonna, the patient develops only those symptoms out of this vast array of symptoms of the collection of belladonna that the patient have. Patient doesn't prove all the symptoms of belladonna with this minuteness of dose, that it acts with sensitivity. Many things are there. So similarly, if this sensitive medicine LM potency is, you can say it is much more milder in its action than centesimal potency, whereas it is much finer and more deep penetrating in its action. So this softness, mildness of the action of this LM potency, if your patient is not having a susceptibility or sensitivity of this medicine, mostly it will not respond to that, and so you will not get the so-called medicinal aggravation or other type of harm. And that is one of the very important, or you can say one of the beauty of this LM potency. Besides, so other things are there, so many other things that we can use. With limited time, we have to limit only the most important thing. Another important thing that some student ask, if we started prescribing this, then how long we should continue this? When we will discontinue it? My dear friend, the principle, the repetition with this potency from LM1 to LM2 to LM3 to LM4 will continue as long as, mind it, two things, when the patient's symptomatology upon which you have selected this remedy is not going to change in such a way that it requires another remedy, then you have to continue the same medicine. And if the patient is improving but not demanding other remedy by its symptomatology, you have to continue. But if you find after LM3, LM4, LM5, patient is improving but symptomatology change, then you have to change the remedy. If you have used the remedy X, then now select the indicated remedy according to this new indication, and if the remedy demands remedy Y, then again start remedy Y with 0 by 1, 2, 3, 4. If after certain times during the time of improvement, if patient's symptomatology change and totality demands remedy Z, then change the remedy Z, start with LM potency and continue. In either way, one very important direction that Hahnemann has advised in aphorism number 248, when to stop this remedy. Hahnemann has advised in this aphorism, and he called shame symptom. Very important part that we must know, that our so-called homeopathic aggravation that we are getting in the very beginning of our treatment, when we prescribe centesimal scale of potency, that is called the so-called homeopathic aggravation, or you can say the sign of incipient cure, that Hahnemann used this word in chronic disease, sign of incipient cure, that you study the so-called Kent's 12 observation, observation number 3. This aggravation occurs in the very beginning in centesimal scale of potency, that Hahnemann has advised in or written in 5th edition. But he has changed this in 6th edition. He has changed with this scale of potentization, this scale of administering the remedy. Here Hahnemann says that if you use LM potency, especially in case of chronic case, then the patient will not feel this height of homeopathic aggravation in the beginning. Rather, from the beginning, patient will feel slight amelioration. Gradually, patient will feel better. Then a moment will come, then patient will be free from symptom. Then after, due to this use of medicine, patient will now start giving you the symptoms of this medicine what you are prescribed. That is called the symptoms of excess of medicine, that he called Shane symptom. And to this you can say this is the now homeopathic aggravation, the so-called, not homeopathic, so-called homeopathic aggravation with this LM potency. And this presence of this appearance of Shane symptom is the time to stop the medicine. This is the time to discontinue your medicine and wait. So we have discussed how to dispense. We have discussed very little where to discuss, because it requires much time of describing acute conditions and chronic conditions. Then I have discussed you only one benefit from the Hahnemann. Beside that, there are so many other benefits of using LM potency that requires very long time to describe. Then here I would like to share one experience of mine with LM potency. I have learned from sir, I have studied this from Hahnemann, that always use this LM potency from 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. I remember an incident, I think it was 2003, and the month of May, June, and at that time we have one festival, Bakr. In that festival I have used as per the festival, and after using this I have taken very chilled cold drinks, and the next night this chilled cold drinks is giving me fever, very severe throat pain, unable to eat, even unable to drink, body ache. Still, I'm feeling thirsty, but I was not able to drink water because of this pain. Although arsenic, hypersulf as indicated, but totality demands bryonia, because the very strong modality I felt bryonia whenever I was in state of calm and quiet sleep. I felt better, but once I start working, once I am waking, all complaints come to me. So this absolute rest was very prominent at that time, and so I decided for bryonia. At home we have bryonia 200. I have taken 5 doses of bryonia 200, but no relief. Next day I have to go to the clinic in Topsia, and in the clinic I had 0 by 20 of bryonia. Buying this 0 by 20, I would like to, because I have not this 0 by 20 or 30 higher potency at that time of every medicine. But once upon a time, while discussing with Dr. Khalid Bhaiya has suggested me certain use of by some physician, that they use, instead of going from 0, 1 to that, they use suddenly 10 or 20, 0 by 10 or 20 in severe acute conditions. If your selection of remedy is perfect, then you have a very good result. Just think, remind me, and I used this 0 by 20 bryonia while sitting in the clinic. I have taken 3 doses, and after 3 doses, 1 hourly, I was engaged in seeing my patient, and suddenly I realized that I'm not feeling unwell. I don't have throat pain, no fever, and suddenly just I went out of the clinic and I have one roll, and I have eaten, because I have not eaten since night because of the pain, and just in 3 doses, no pain, no fever, not at all. I'm not here going to discuss either the drawback of centesimal or usefulness of LM potency, but this incidence I am even not able to explain why 200 have not worked, and this potency have given me the so-called magical result. And because I am very fearful of using this LM20, because I have always used 1, 2, 3, but not reached to the 20 till that time, and at that time I used directly LM20, and so I was very fearful to use this medicine, and so I used on myself, not my patient. And so this was one of the incidents that given me a result, but I am not able to give explanation, but it happened to me. So many things are there also regarding LM potency. If time permits, then we can use in different way. Now one thing, I think सवा आठ हो गया, छोड़ो, next potency. Sir, hello.
हाँ बोलो.
ठीक है, आई थिंक सवा आठ हो गया. अब आपका कुछ डिस्कशन है तो बाकी पार्ट में फिर बहुत लगेगा, वो फिर कभी डिस्कस कर लेंगे, दूसरा चीज़ करना था.
ऐसा अच्छा समझो.
जी सर.
लेकिन today your explanation, as you have share your experience with the Hahnemann, and the information or in the group chat, I have given too much appreciation of your explanation of the LM potency. One thing, there are shame symptom, all these things which you discussed. The people are asking, because in my humble opinion, that they are not well acquainted with the Hahnemann's writing as well as the organ of medicine. It is my humble request to all of you, those who are not able to understand, let us try now to study Hahnemann's writing, because this is the only writing which I claim give you the marvelous result without any confusion, suspicion. Hahnemann have got no such suspicion at all. If you have got some suspect, you are really you are not able to prescribe in any of your life. So all those who are now participating with me, my humble request, those who are very close to you, some good physician, those who know the organ, my humble submission to you, please contact with them and learn organ. What Dr. Rashid is going to explain, it is nothing but the charmful writings of Hahnemann, a full experience of Hahnemann, and as well as the Rashid's explanation of his case and one experience of LM20 directly using. All these are very important, but I request you to please go through the organ. And I am thankful to also Dr. Rashid that you have given plenty of aphorisms, reference, your experience to make to convince them. Still, please, those who are asking this question, first go through the organ. Don't make yourself spoon feeding. In spoon feeding, people always under the stress of spoon feeding. Don't make yourself become so insecure. Hahnemann give you the security. Dr. Rashid, Dr. Khalid, Dr. Pankaj Agarwal, and many others, they are very close to you. All they will taught you about some of the difficult part of the organ. And I think I have faith on them that they are going to explain so humbly, so smoothly about the art of prescribing from the organ that you can easily do just one thing which I have found, that your false ego. Please crush your ego, crush. Humbly submit to your physician, to your experienced people. They will guide you. And apart from the guidings, you have got organ yourself. There are one very simple translation of Brenda or O'Reilly. What to read? But I say one thing, that please contact some of the good physicians, those who believe homeopathy, organ and teaching organ. Not time is enough. If you are starting learning organ and homeopathic materia medica pura, chronic disease or the other writings of Hahnemann, is still just now, you are not late. I think Dr. Rashid has still. Now I heard this Dr. Anjali, who said Dr. Pankaj Agarwal sir is giving highly knowledgeable lectures of organ every day on YouTube for 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Please try to join the Enhance of Knowledge. Thanks, Dr. Pankaj Agarwal. I humbly say you join YouTube. Learn organ from Dr. Pankaj Agarwal. He has a good physician as well as very good teachers of organ. So whenever you get any opportunity, you try to learn organon, and that is very beneficial to your future life. Now, doctor, you're explaining of LM potency is my deep desire that someone is going to be explain more and more, and you need further explanation. It is also very hopeful to those who are eagerly like to learn LM potency and like to prescribe LM potency. I am having I told also Dr. Soni, Ranjit Soni, because he knows me, Dr. Rashid, Dr. Khalid, Dr. Pankaj Agarwal. They saw me in clinic, but they never saw me in NIH. So that's why I request Dr. Soni also to please share some of the things, starting from potency to LM potency, centesimal potency, or doses or indications which I share in the NIH, especially DOPD and also IPD. First part of NIH, in the deep NIH especially, when Dr. Pankaj Agarwal study in deep NIH or some other people also, I'm searching them but I could not able to contact them, like Jaswant Jain and others. And some are very much fearful to face audience without audience. In Zoom, there is no audience. But I don't know why many people are not able to accept to sharing his knowledge with the Zoom. So those who are see me from deep NIH, those who see me in the MD of National Institute of Homeopathy, I think the knowledge is ever and ever gradually is going to be uplifted, not a standstill. And especially man like me, if it's going to be stand only one day, when I departed this room, not before. Still, I have got many experience of the potency, potentized medicine, the doses, which I mostly say. I play with the potency. I play with the doses. I play with the interval of the doses. I play the quantity of the doses. But selection is one. Selection should be have different criteria. And it's especially this one most important criteria is proving symptoms. And most if the proving symptom from the honeymoon. Honeymoon is proving, I think nobody is going to be understand, perceive what effort he has done for selection of the symptom. In the proving, he gives due respect to all the approvers, starting from the allopathic side or homeopathic side, or Vena proving on other area of away from the honeymoon's proving. But it is my, you can say my, maybe it is prejudice, but I am become very much idiosyncratic with the writings of Hahnemann as well as the writing of proving of Hahnemann. And I am getting result. The result was so successful. Simply, I give the one indication from arsenic that what you have, you need more and more. People say sometimes it's criticizing me that it is a very common human being. Those who have got things, they need more and more. Okay. But the examples, the cases where I choose arsenic, it is a difficult part of human being. Using sendur from here to here, it is the not demand, desire as well as feeling of achievement. Once I discussed with Dr. Ranjit Soni, he said about few cases, only few cases, where I target the using of sendur. And I laugh at how much he remember my cases. I can say one, this is the treasure of NIH OPD. NIH OPD's treasure, no parallel at all. I can say not now. When I was in the NIH, I saw myself, my way of perceiving patient is beautiful. Sometimes I feel and laugh and enjoy when I am alone because I never miss in my life the opportunity of learning, the opportunity of listening, the opportunity of watching and listening from the eyes, which I am thankful to Dr. SM Singh, my senior most colleague. मेरे बड़े भाई साहब, he is explaining about listening from the eyes. My friend, okay, there are lots of compliment Dr. Rashid, Dr. Akhtar. I think it is very good, appreciable. Those who are freely and from core of heart is going to appreciating. Appreciating itself is saying the man is without prejudice. Doctor, thank you, Dr. Manpreet Kaur, Dr. Others also. I'm saying one thing that this is not enough. Dr. Rashid Akhtar having a more and more explanation, more and more experience about the M Potency. But simple, I like to add one thing that as you have given the example of your own cases with indication like Brania. So I request you whenever you are going to explaining the potency without indication is a half teaching. So by which you just take care of one thing, that indication should be shared. Should be, should be, should be. You know that I am watching all these people, those who are giving the comments. I simply, by their comments, I'm going to understand their whole personality. And it taught me, they give me a lesson that still our system of medicine and the people belongs to the our system of medicine, they need more learning. They need more listening. They need more watching. They need more clinical association with their seniors, like Pankaj Agarwal, Rashid Akhtar, Dr. Tanveer. I have got no such experience with Dr. Tanveer in his clinic, but he came to me to meet me, sharing his experience with the seminar. One or two, three seminars we have gone together. Sometime in journey, we got opportunity to listen each other. So I can say one thing that after Dr. Rashid, I can request also Dr. Khalid and Dr. Pankaj also to share their own experience of M Potency. And